I am Nia Han, and I am a domestic violence survivor. And so is my sister, and so is my mom. I grew up in a very normal family with a mom and a dad and two lovely little kids. My dad, unfortunately, also loved drinking. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm not one to not talk back to people. And when my dad came home after work, after stopping at the bar to see his friends, the last thing he wanted was a defiant kid talking back. And I talked back, and I got beat up many, many times. I actually have a scar in my knee from one day when I was on the phone with a classmate talking about a school project. And my drunk dad told me to hang up the phone, and I didn't. My dad pulled the surface-mounted PVC pipes off the wall, and he beat me with them, while my friend from school listened on the other end of the line. My sister is 7 years younger. So I remember one day when she was, I think, maybe 10 years old. And my dad had her pinned against the wall, and he had hold of her hair, and he was banging her head against the wall. And that was just horrible. It took me moving away from the country where I grew up on and moving away from my entire family, all my childhood friends. It took a good 20 years for me to heal that relationship with my mom and my dad. And I ask a lot, why is it that she didn't leave? Was she afraid that I wouldn't have food to eat? Or my sister, we wouldn't have clothes to wear if she left my dad? I don't know what she was thinking, and that's why I don't judge. I love my dad. My dad is still around. We have a great relationship, but it took years and years and years of soul searching for me to be able to forgive my mom and my dad. Now, if we were in the States, my dad would very likely be in jail. But we were in Brazil, which is a very different place. I am happy to live here now and to be an American and to know there are places like Harbor House. If growing up, where I grew up, the city that I grew up, if we had a Harbor House, maybe my mom would have not put up with it and she would have left. So that's why Harbor House is so personal to me, because I am proud of living in a place where maybe families don't have to go through what my family went through. There's resources, there's help, there's people to talk to, there's people to help you, there's people to help the person who's hurting you. It's hard to talk about it. It's easier said than done when I say talk about it, because my sister, for example, doesn't talk about it as comfortably as I talk about it. So we all handle the abuse. We all handle surviving in different ways, and that's okay too. My mom to this day won't talk about it. Part of my healing process is talking about it. Maybe your neighbor is going through it, maybe your cousin is going through it, maybe your sister is going through it, and you don't even know because we don't talk about it. I survived, and I'm here, and I'm strong, and I'm healing. Not everybody is this lucky. I am now a very proud board member here at Harbor House. And one of the things that I think are going to make the biggest impact in our region here in the next coming years is that we're working very hard to offer culture-specific help. We have a very diverse community here in the Fox Cities, and I know, coming from a different culture, how big of a role that plays on how you perceive and how you deal with abuse. So we are working very diligently to help you, to reach out to every different culture group that we have here in the Valley, and we will get you help.
Thank you for joining us for Domestic Violence Awareness Month and hearing from survivors living in our community. Domestic abuse affects more than 1 in 7 people and knows no gender, race, or socioeconomic status. By supporting the Harbor House mission, you help us to achieve our vision of a community free of domestic abuse.